Over the course of the semester in Communications Theory and Practice, otherwise known as the ever so trendy hashtag CTPF15, I've learned a multitude of concepts concerning the overall theme of digital literacy. During my time in room 174, I've adapted writings and videos for my own personal use on forums such as Twitter and WordPress. In doing this, I myself believe that I successfully become digitally literate, a term that from my current knowledge now realize I was far from. So what is digital literacy? Well, as Cindy Self explains in terms of technological literacy, it is a complex set of socially and culturally situated values, practices, and skills involved in operating linguistically within the context of electronic environments, including reading, writing, and communicating. In other words, being digitally literate means that one has the knowledge to operate digital devices, as well as properly use these devices with the correct skills and behavior to effectively network. Throughout my time working on this semester-long project, I have grown and developed into a 21st century participator. I actively engage in different content and present my own ideas on my personal venues. From engaging with different what I believe are master participators' work, I have taken the skills presented to me and applied them in order to fully become a digitally literate human. Twitter has been one such tool that I've utilized in order to gain knowledge in this technologically forward world. Fun fact, I, 18-year-old Carly Montecalvo, have never sent out a tweet until I entered college. Previously, I never really understood the positives that were involved with Twitter, but after my involvement with a networking site, I now understand that Twitter is a platform that helps more than just celebrities connect with their fans. I have found endless opportunities that link what I am doing in my own life to others with the same thoughts without even meeting them. For example, after reading many articles, I have expressed my feelings on the topics discussed through tweets. After following the people who influenced me in order to see their personal views on various subjects, I mention them in my tweets in order to possibly connect. These interactions between like-minded people allows for an expansion in thought. Though I have quoted others from readings and videos and have received no feedback, that is still okay. It is the fact that I am participating that makes myself more literate than I was by not participating in the social sharing space. Howard Rangel discusses this as he describes his theory of participation being power. He says participation, however, is a kind of power that only works if you share it with others. By stating my thoughts and opinions, I am sharing it with others. But a site such as Twitter can only work if others participate as well, by favoriting, retweeting, and interacting with one another. As people begin to express themselves and partake in this participatory culture, there are possibilities for copyright, a legal right to use someone else's work. Though, this is where this idea becomes a bit strange. What we imagine and create, what we think up and decide to develop, it isn't really ours. As Kirby Ferguson shows us in the video Everything is a Remix, everything in our world is just that, a remix. To come up with any idea, we are in fact inspired by another idea that someone already came up with. When we participate, we must make sure to not take others' work directly. Yet if everything is someone else's, then you would think that everything is uncopyrighted. In my blog post Humans of Liquid, I became inspired by the popular blog Humans of New York. Here, I took ideas and transformed them into my own. I used my own creativity, paired with the inspiration I found in others' work. This, I believe, is the whole idea behind digital literacy. Having the ability to pull from different resources and create. This thought that what we create really may not be ours is an idea that I believe should not matter at all, as creativity should be looked at with admiration, not disapproval. In Sir Ken Robinson's TED Talk, an interesting message is relayed. He begins by telling two stories about children's experiences in life and their unfiltered responses. The point of these stories was to show that we are all afraid of being wrong. Robinson further explains that our society is based off of stigmatizing mistakes, and we are in fact educating people out of their creative capacities. Our thoughts, our opinions, our creativity should never feel hindered by the society around us. Digital literacy teaches us how to interact in the current world, but it also helps communicators go further with their thoughts and accomplish more. Without Twitter, no one would see my opinions. Without my blog, no one would be informed about the thoughts regarding beverages, and without Zeit, my personal interests would be unknown. Though, this is not to say that if no one knows something is occurring, it did not happen. It is only to emphasize that without creativity and without the willingness to do something, there can never be inspiration for others and no expansion in the online and social world. I have engaged with sources such as Twitter and produced content for my blog via WordPress and accepted the very particular world we live in regards to copyright and have adapted to it. So I guess you could say I'm officially digitally literate, right? Wrong. It is one thing to know how to interact, but very different once you know how to behave. As is shown through Monica Lewinsky's TED Talk of her personal experiences, some people mean to be hurtful, and others simply join the bandwagon, but we all as a society seem to willfully misunderstand information in order to give in to the shaming culture. Events such as those that occurred in Paris show how the online world has aided in important issues by creating social platforms to relay meaningful messages. We need to be digitally literate to know how to effectively communicate. As Lewinsky says, think before we click. Being digitally literate is important for everyone, not just the millennials that have grown up using technology. Digital literacy is accessible for everyone and is quite frankly imperative to our society's future. In order to exist and be present in the world we do, we as humans must be able to adapt. And this adaptation to new technologies and customs is the principal driving force behind digital literacy. From my time utilizing the many platforms I have created, I have seen drastic changes. I now look at my first blog post and see how far I have come as I sit and write a current post. I even find myself wanting to tweet about new information I uncover. I believe that by learning more about the online world around you, one is better able to grow. I, for example, began this semester taking notes by pen and paper, but soon adapted to technology to grow as an efficient communicator. Though, this does not mean that everyone must participate. Henry Jenkins, who speaks out on such problems with our participatory culture, explains that not every member must contribute, but all must believe they are free to contribute, and that what they will contribute will be appropriately valued. There are many different people in this world, and not all are willing to participate and share their ideas, though all must feel as though they are able to voice their thoughts if they want. In order to do this and have this chance, every communicator of current and future times must be open to learn.